Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Melffy Yugioh deck profile for April 2022. Been wanting to update the Melffy deck for a good while. For those of you that don't know, this is a level 2 beast monster deck that focuses on special summoning out a bunch of different Melffy monsters on the field, all focused on when your opponent would either normal or special summon a monster or attack into one of your Melffy monsters, and then gaining an additional monster effect when that card is returned in the hand. You also have a bunch of Xyz monsters for the Melffys that have all been released recently in the 2021 Mega Tin, making this deck quite affordable for those of you looking to build it. I also wanted to stick to as pure of a Melffy build as I could, so I didn't really look towards many of the Tri-Brigade cards in this deck to use, focusing solely on some of the more generic beast support along with the other Melffy cards. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. I run 3 Melffy Puppy. With this card, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, except during the damage step, or if your opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you can return this card to the hand. Then you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower beast monster from your deck, except for Melffy Puppy. And during your end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use each effect of Melffy Puppy once per turn. So the end phase special summon just gives you this card set up on the field again to use as a resource against your opponent, but also being able to special summon a beast type monster from the deck not only gives you access to all the other Melffy monsters we run, but also some other beast monsters we run in the deck, including Kalantosa, which can then just target and destroy a card in the field, taking away from some of your opponent's resources they may have on the field. And I also run 3 Melffy Catty. With this card, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, just like Melffy Puppy or target for an attack, you can return this card to your hand. Then you can add 1 beast monster from your deck to your hand, except for Melffy Catty. And during the end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. So the search power comes in handy because then you can have other cards to special summon at the end of the turn. If you want to search out Melffy Puppy at the end of the turn, you can special summon it onto the field along with Melffy Catty. Having all of these resources available to you means you can also have easier plays to then go into the many different Xyz monsters we run, whether it be Melffy of the Forest, Joyous Melffys, or even the Melffy Mommy from the extra deck. For the last of the 3 ofs for the Melffy monsters, I also run 3 Melffy Rabbit. It's just a normal monster, but I do like running Rescue Rabbit in the deck just because then it's another quick special summon of 2 of them onto the field from your deck, and then you can just overlay the 2 of them into your Xyz monsters. And you also have a 2100 defense normal monster to just sit on if you open up sort of a slower kind of hand, but most of the time you don't even have to worry about that because you do have a lot of special summon options in this deck. This card just helps to sort of speed up those plays altogether. And then for some of the lower numbers for the Melffy monsters, I also run 2 Melffy Pony. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, having these same options there, returning this card to the hand, then you can add 1 level 2 or lower beast monster from your graveyard to your hand, and then the special summon play for Melffy Pony, just like all the other Melffys aside from Melffy Rabbit. And also for this, I only run 2 because it is a graveyard play, meaning earlier on in the game, it won't do as much if you don't have the targets in your graveyard for you to add back to your hand. But being able to recycle the other generic beast type monsters that we do run does come in handy for some of the lower numbers we run, with the last of the main deck Melffy monsters we're running being 2 Melffy Fenny. With this card, when it's returned to the hand, you can special summon 1 beast monster from your hand except for Melffy Fenny, and the special summon play is the same, just like all the other Melffy monsters. So with the search power that Catty can provide, you can at least use then Fenny to bounce back to the hand and special summon out another Melffy monster onto the field, which can in turn, when your opponent tries to attack into it, return and special summon. The big parts are the Melffys are here to return to the hand and then special summon or add other Melffy monsters. It all comes down to what you special summon on the field, because then your opponent will still be able to get another redeclare on the attack unless you can get rid of that monster they summon out. For the other generic beast support that I run, I also run 3 Kalantosa, the mystical beast of the forest. If this card is special summoned by the effect of a beast type monster, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy that target. You always want to have targets for this card in the deck or the hand or recycled from the graveyard, so 3 is a definitely good number to rely on. It is also not a once per turn, so as long as you can special summon Kalantosa to the field, you can destroy a card on your opponent's field, making 3 a definite resource depending on what Melffy card you have for the special summon or the add back for this card, with both being search power and special summoned out thanks to cards like Melffy Puppy quite easily. For more special summon power, I also run 2 Valor Fawn, mythical beast of the forest. Along with being a tuner monster, you can discard 1 card and then target 1 level 2 or lower beast monster from your graveyard, except for Valor Fawn, and special summon it in attack position or face down defense position. So once again, another card that can target Kalantosa onto the field, but also one that can special summon back onto the field one of your Melffy monsters that are in the graveyard, or even better yet, a quicker way to summon it on the field if you at least have the other beast monster in the graveyard to then discard the Melffy as long as you have the other target and special summon that card back onto the field also. And then for more special summon options, I also run 3 Rescue Cat. Once again, a quicker means, just like we'll have the Rescue Rabbit play for the Melffy Rabby, we can have Rescue Cat to special summon the other beast-type monsters onto the field to then overlay into the Xyz play we want to go into. And also for the main deck monsters, 3 Rescue Rabbit. The total target for Rescue Rabbit is Melffy Rabby, but still very, very useful for the special summon and overlay into any of our Xyz monsters, or even going into one of our Link 2 monsters we run on the deck, or having the option for Synchro if we do have one of the tuners on the field. With the last of the main deck monsters just being 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, just being the hand trap of choice for me to use in this deck, being able to shut down a good number of plays my opponent may have, and we never really have to summon this card out on the field as a use for a tuner. It's just there for that hand trap spot. And that is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to these spells. Ideally, I do want to run 3 Obedience School. Sadly, I was only able to find 2, so I have 1 Ayers Rock Sunrise in here as a placeholder. But Obedience School, if you control no monsters, special summon 3 level 2 or lower beast effect type monsters with different names from your deck. Their effects are negated, and they are destroyed during the end phase. If you activate this card, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except beast type monsters. This card just gives you the play for summoning out multiple monsters onto the field, which can be used for those extra deck plays that I spoke of before, and being limited to beast special summons means you're still in the run to use your other cards when you summon them out, because this card just special summons them out into the field, and it only limits you to summon beast type monsters for the rest of the turn. So you can activate Obedience School and then use either Rescue Rabbit or Rescue Cat and get 2 more additional monsters out on the field. And I also run 2 Melffy Tag. It's a quick play spell card. You target 1 Melffy monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can activate 1 tag per turn. A quick play spell, and it gives you an option just to summon that monster back on the field. And then if your opponent attacks into it or summons a monster, you can return it to the hand and initiate that monster effect. With the last of the Melffy spells being the 1 Melffy Hide and Seek. The first time each beast monster you control will be destroyed by a card effect. Each turn it is not destroyed. You can target 3 beast monsters in your graveyard with different names, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. You can only use this effect of Melffy Hide and Seek once per turn. It's kind of the Pot of Avarice card in the deck, which is also great because I do run the multiple Rescue Rabbits, so I wanted a way to at least be able to recycle the Melffy Rabbies back into the main deck for me to then use again with that card. And for more of the generic spell lineup, along with the one I ran to substitute the Obedience School, I do run 2 Ayers Rock Sunrise normally in the deck as another special summon, and then a way to lower my opponent's monster's attack by 200 for each beast monster in the graveyard, and also 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Call by the Grave for the rest of the spell lineup, with the only trap that I am running in the deck being 3 Infinite Impermanence, just once again like Ash Blossom, pretty standard hand trap material to stop any of my opponent's monster effects they may try to activate on the field. And that is it for the main deck. When I move on to the extra deck, I run 2 Melffy of the Forest. You need 2 level 2 monsters to make this card. You can detach 1 material from it to add 1 Melffy card from your deck to your hand. If another face-up Melffy monster you control returns to your hand, except during the damage step, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack. Also, its effects are negated while this card is face-up on the field. You can only use each effect of Melffy of the Forest once per turn. So having lower numbers for the spells, it's very easy to search cards like Melffy Hide and Seek and then activate it on the field, with this card being the searcher for them, or even Melffy Tag, and then having your recycle or special summon card thanks to this card on the field. And just needing the 2 level 2 monsters, very useful to then make use of those monsters we can get out easily with Rescue Rabbit or Rescue Cat on the field. I also run 2 Joyous Melffys. With this card, you can detach 1 material from this card. Your Melffy monsters can attack directly this turn, and during your opponent's turn quick effect, you can target 1 Beast Xyz monster you control, return that monster to the extra deck. Then you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower beast monsters from your graveyard up to the number of materials that monster had. You can only use this effect of Joyous Melffys once per turn. Sort of the celebration card that the card specifies. Once you have that Xyz monster, let's say it has the 1 additional material on it, you can at least summon out those other Melffy monsters from the graveyard back onto the field to make use of their own effects in a way that would definitely disrupt your opponent's own plays when you have this card on the field to detach that material. And lastly, for the Melffy Xyz monsters, I also run 2 Melffy Mommy once per turn. It needs 2 or more level 2 beast monsters. Quick effect, you can attach 1 beast monster from your hand or face on the field to this card as material, and it gains effects based on the number of materials attached to it. If it's 3 or more, it cannot be destroyed by battle. If it's 4 or more, you take no damage from battles involving this card. If it's 5 or more, when an attack is declared involving this card and an attack position monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack position monster's attack. A burn damage way to, just drain down your opponent's life points, but having the direct attack also, thanks to Joyous Melffy, means you'll drain and take away their life points very quickly using both of these cards. For the last of the Xyz monsters that I run in the deck, also 1 Ronin Raccoon Tsundere. For the token play, it can also be used to get over a good majority of cards your opponent may have. And for the synchros, we're sticking to a level 4 synchro lineup, so 1 Old Entity Hastor, 1 Starmine, and 1 Herald of the Arclight. The Old Entity Hastor, once again, more of a stall card. The Starmine can hit for more burn damage against your opponent, and the Herald of the Arclight can just negate 1 card your opponent may have, with your Verifon being the main go-to tuner to then summon out any of these cards. And then for the Link monsters, I run 1 Mrs. Radiant for the Earth majority of the monsters we play, the 1 Farragut for the special summon of your beast monsters onto the field. Like I said, I didn't run too many Tri Brigades in the deck. This is the one exception. And also 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Fighting Fire Doll Daruma, and 1 Boral Sword Dragon is one of the bigger Link 4 monsters to run in the deck, just to hit against my opponent for the multiple attacks by also being able to switch my own Melffy monsters to defense mode. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, like I said, the Rescue Rabbit or Rescue Cat play can set up a lot of plays, being able to summon out the 2 normal monsters of choice or the 2 beast monsters of choice with your Rescue Cat. Summon them from your deck onto the field, and then having the overlay play, so you don't end up losing the monsters that you summon with those cards, can give you the Xyz monster of choice. If you go with the one or the other, you can then go for the play you want to resolve as well, with Melffy of the Forest, being able to then search out another one by detaching the 1, and you can even add that card being Melffy Tag to your hand, activating Tag to special summon back the Melffy monster that was originally having its effects negated thanks to the Rescue Cat, but then being able to bounce it back to your hand and have the additional special summon of some other beast type monsters during your opponent's turn that would disrupt their own plays. The Obedient School play, also very, very useful, being able to special summon 3 differently named beast-type monsters onto the field. Doesn't even necessarily have to be the Melffy cards. Just remember that Kalantosa has to be special summoned by a beast-type monster to gain its effect, and it's negated anyway with Obedient School. But then you can also still use the additional summon of your normal summon for your beast monster to summon out 2 additional beast monsters on the field for you to then use along with both of the plays, and having both of these monsters go into the main monster zone, giving you access to the Xyz monster you want to go for, being your Joyous Melffy or Melffy of the Forest, or having all 5 on the field. You can then overlay all 5 of those cards into the big combo play, which would be just the Melffy Mommy, meeting the materials for all 5 being attached onto this card without having to have put any from the field already or from your hand onto it as material. One of my last favorite plays that I like to do in the deck involves the Joyous Melffy and the play once again for the Melffy of the Forest. So you do the play with the Obedient School, you will end up having 1 additional monster on the field with its effects negated, but then you'll have the other 2 overlaid into the proper play for each. But what you can do then is have the detach power for your Melffy of the Forest to then search out another card, being the Melffy Tag, once again to your hand, activating it, special summoning that Melffy back onto the field, and giving you the last overlay for your Melffy Mommy, giving you all 3 of the Xyz monsters on the field thanks to that summon setup. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, it felt like forever when I last did an update to this deck, and normally when I have that hunch, it normally means it has been at least over a year since I updated it, but I hope you all enjoyed the video, and as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.